The most powerful AI coding tool just got leaked. Anthropic's Claude Code accidentally went public, exposing how the system actually works behind the scenes. And the reality might surprise a lot of people. Guys, as you can see, the AI scene is on fire, so make sure you're subscribed to catch up with the latest. That file exposed over 500,000 lines of code. And the system wasn't like futuristic magic. It was mostly TypeScript prompt system. So guys, we're gonna dig deeper into this, but before we do that, I want to shout out our sponsor of this video. This is elodan.com, guys. This is a really interesting website. You can do text to image, image to image, text to video, image to video, and text to voice. So actually you can also chat. You can chat with AI using all the models that you need. Elodan is very smooth, guys. You have to try it out. It has everything you need. You can chat, you can create images, you can create videos. This tool can help you with anything you do in your life. So make sure to head to elodan.com right now and get the offer. You can get 500 credits for just $9.99. Now back to the video. Alright guys, today we have a video by Fireship. The video title is Tragic Mistake. Anthropic leaks Claude Code's source code, or Claude's source code. Let's watch the video.
Yesterday, the most ironic thing ever happened. Anthropic, a $380 billion startup built on the idea of safety first, that advocates for closed-source software for the supposed benefit of humanity, a company Elon calls Misanthropic, whose logo is definitely not
Elon Musk just like to hate on every company, man. He's just hating so hard on OpenAI. Now that OpenAI is falling, he's just moving to hate on Claude.
Sphincter, whose CEO has been warning us for years that human programmers will be replaced by AI in 6 months, it just accidentally leaked Claude Code's entire source code to the internet at 4 a.m., officially making Anthropic more open than OpenAI. Within minutes of the leak, Xiaofan Xiao, a security researcher, discovered that version 2.1.88 of the Claude. Yesterday, the most ironic thing ever happened. Anthropic, a $380 billion startup built on the idea of safety first, that advocates for closed-source software for the supposed benefit of humanity, a company.
So what does that mean in the future? What does that mean? Competition becomes so much higher right now. Competition also becomes so much harder right now. You'll find a lot of new competitors in the scene. If more codes get leaked, then the competition is now, the entry to the competition is now so much easier. So much easier. So this is what we're going to see in the upcoming days. More competition, more companies coming to the whole AI field, and it's always good. Competition is always good.
Quickly spread across the internet like wildfire. Anthropic's legal team courageously issued DMCA takedowns, but by the time they woke up in San Francisco, it was already too late. The code was mirrored countless times and cloned by slop tubers like Fireship, which the Supreme Court says I can do legally, by the way, as a world-renowned journalist.
I know a lot about the law and various other lawyerings.
In today's video, we'll look at all of the incredible discoveries in the code that Anthropic doesn't want you to know about. Like its anti-distillation poison pills, its mysterious unreleased features, its undercover mode, its regular expression-based frustration detector, and many other super secret techniques at the foreskin of AI research. No, this is not an April Fool's Day joke. It is April 1st, 2026, and you're watching the Code Report. Unfortunately, my lawyer just informed me that showing you Anthropic's TypeScript code would be a violation of my parole, and I refuse to go back to jail. But luckily, the open source community has already created a loophole. Ironically, Claude's most prolific user used OpenAI Codex to rewrite Claude Code's TypeScript code to Python code, resulting in a new, barely legal project called Claude Code, and it's already become the fastest repo in history to surpass 50,000 GitHub stars. Not only that, but somebody else slop forked the leaked code and made it work with any model. They're calling this new project OpenClaude, and it makes projects like
God, guys, this is I didn't know that this was that serious. Is actually the code is getting leaked and people are using it and putting it in good use, but are you legally correct? That's the question. Because, you know, Claude is known for legal suits. So this might also happen. You might find yourself in a legal fight with Claude if you do anything like that. But I know that China is right now like, yes, China is now celebrating they don't care. They're going to use those codes. They're going to use everything. They're going to check what actually, how Claude is thinking, and they're going to build on it. You see with Minimax, their LLM. I know that China doesn't care and will use this. But for us, for people like this, just take care, people.
Like open code completely obsolete, but maybe now that the code's out in the open, Anthropic will just make it open source. Somebody tried to make a pull request with the leaked code, but not surprisingly, it looks like Anthropic already deleted it. What a mother effing crazy 24 hours. But how did this code end up leaked in the first place? Well, as I mentioned, the source map was accidentally packaged in an NPM release, but that's weird because build tools normally strip out source maps automatically. Well, Claude Code is built on Bun.js, which, as you might recall, was recently acquired by Anthropic. And it just so happens that about 3 weeks ago, somebody opened up an issue on GitHub about Bun.js serving source maps in production. Wouldn't it be ironic if the fastest JavaScript runtime in the world also turned out to be the fastest way to ship your entire codebase to the internet? It's unclear if that was the root cause, and it's also possible that some unfortunate developer did this by accident, or perhaps some rogue developer did it on purpose. We may never know the truth, but now it's time for the fun part. What did we actually learn from the leak? Well, first, we learned that Claude uses Axios. If you subscribe to my channel, then you know that Axios was compromised by North Korean hackers yesterday. The exploit can install a remote access Trojan on anyone using this package, and in theory, if that happened on Anthropic servers, it could be a massive disaster. But the next thing we learned is that Claude Code is basically just a dynamic prompt sandwich glued together with TypeScript, and not some magical piece of futuristic technology. In a basic AI chatbot, you typically have a hidden system prompt that gets combined with your prompt. Then the base model uses statistics to regurgitate a bunch of data it stole from the internet. But in Claude Code, things are far more complex, with a total of 11 steps from input to output. Somebody already vibe coded a website that breaks down every step, but the most interesting part about this code base is that it contains tons of hard-coded instructions and guardrails that basically beg Claude to please don't do anything weird. Like there's just file after file of these massive hard-coded strings telling Claude to be a good boy. And that's kind of surprising because if this code were ever leaked, it would instantly turn from a black box into a blueprint for Claude's competition. And ironically, that's exactly what happened. What makes that even more funny though is that Claude was actively trying to stop their competition from copying Claude Code by implementing anti-distillation poison pills. It does that by pretending that certain tools exist when in reality they don't exist at all.
You're a big fat phony!
That means if you're some Chinese guy trying to train a new model on Claude's outputs, it's going to talk about tools that don't exist, which will point your model in the wrong direction and just make it suck. In reality, Claude Code only uses about 25 different tools or so, and now the Claude distillers know exactly what to look for, and they're likely going to have a field day with the bash tool. This file contains over 1,000 lines of code that helps the large language model reliably parse and execute bash commands, which might be the single most important feature in an AI coding assistant. The next thing we need to talk about though is Undercover Mode, which is a set of instructions that tell Claude to never mention itself in commit messages or outputs, where the main idea is to make the outputs look as human as possible. The stated purpose of this feature is to prevent things like model codename leaks, but many have speculated that the true purpose is more deceptive, like they're trying to covertly use Claude in open source projects so AI code doesn't get scrutinized when it breaks things catastrophically. A very misanthropic idea indeed. But the irony continues. Another funny thing found in the code is its regex frustration detector. Your state-of-the-art AI model uses simple regular expression matching against your prompt to look for keywords like shit, fuck, cock, balls, and so on to determine if you're not having a good experience coding with Claude. If it detects a match, it'll simply log an event. The bottom line here is that we're not looking at some sort of alien superintelligence, but rather basic programming concepts that have been around for 50 years combined with a bunch of prompt spaghetti. It's all just an illusion. On top,
you know guys, the report button when you open ChatGPT and just type something, and there's a report button, there's a like and dislike. So people wonder what are those? Those are just for reporting. If you do dislike, then this automatically goes to OpenAI as a bad response or a bad prompt, so they can fix it. I didn't know that they automatically do that. So if you just say whatever, like swear word that you're upset with the results, just in text, it will automatically be a report. So you don't have to use the like and dislike. They will know that this is a bad response from whatever, ChatGPT, from OpenClaw. So they will know that you're upset with the results, and they will automatically file a report. This is crazy. This is the first time I know this.
It's all just an illusion. On top of that, this code base has a ton of comments, a lot more comments than you would typically find in a human-written code base. And what that tells us is that these comments aren't actually written for humans, but rather for the AI to write its own AI coding tool in an infinite loop. But perhaps the biggest problem about this leak for Anthropic is not the code itself, but rather the feature names and roadmap hidden within the code. Like there's a hidden capability under a feature flag called Buddy, which appears to be a new Tamagotchi-style companion that every developer can customize and raise like a little digital pet. This might just be Anthropic's April Fool's Day joke, but there are also references to Opus 4.7 and a new model called Capybara, which might be their new recently teased Mythos model. There's also things like Ultra Plan, Coordinator Mode, and Daemon Mode, but perhaps the most interesting is Kairos, which is a Greek word for an exact moment in time, or God's time. I hate to beat off a dead horse here, but it's a bit ironic that Anthropic didn't get to reveal Kairos at the exact time it wanted to, and instead God chose the right time. The feature itself seems to be some kind of background agent that keeps a daily journal, uses Dream Mode to consolidate memories, and does work for you in the background on a specific schedule. They're pretty cool, but at the end of the day, this leak is a pretty huge setback for Anthropic, which hopes to IPO later this year and offload their bags to the retail public. And it's yet another reminder that your top secret application is just one NPM publish away from becoming open source, whether you like it or not.
That's crazy, guys. That is crazy. So, as we said, 500,000 lines of code just leaked like that. Imagine if this happens to more companies. Imagine if this happens to OpenAI. It would just be a very sad day for them because they are already having bad time. Imagine if this happened to Gemini. I don't think so. Google is a very big company and they have the most secure system ever. So the question here is, how will developers do, what will developers do with these information? Are they going to use it in their own good? Are they going to use it in illegal ways? Hopefully not. This is what we're going to know in the upcoming days. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure to check eludan.com also. You can create anything using AI, images, videos. You can chat. You can do everything. One of the best pricing systems ever. So make sure you check it out. And thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.